Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be going through the pictures I drew for Mermay. Why? Because I can, goddammit. Okay, so let's start off with day one. See, here we have the first day of May, May 1st. Obviously, it says day one. These are pretty much numbered accordingly, so it's not too confusing. Uh, I didn't want to use my ink pen, which is a Micron ink pen. So I decided to leave the sketch in pencil and color over that, and I think I did pretty well. It easily bleeds through, like here. You can see the desaturation coming from the pencil, and there's a lot of smudges that end up happening. But other than that, I'd say it's pretty solid. This becomes my little habit for Mermay for a couple of days. Because as we can see here, here's day two. She's kind of based off of a seal and such. And so I really like her eyes. That's my favorite part. Her eyes just look so pretty. And anyways, that was the first picture of day two. I actually drew two pictures this day. And so here's the second picture of day two. And this is sort of based off of like a character for like a little story I've got going on with another OC. She appears earlier in the sketchbook, but I'm not going to show you that because that would take me a while to find. It's like at the beginning, and like we're at the end of this. This deludes my entire rest of the supply of paper in my sketchbook, so I have no paper in my sketchbook anymore, and I don't know what to do with myself. Oh god. Anyways, so yeah, this is the second picture of day two. I don't draw more than one picture a day after this. This was just an exception. So here we have day three and day four. Day three, I wanted to make the scales on the tail much more apparent and visible. So I tried a technique using the colors I used for blending. And I used an array of them to go through, making it get lighter. And actually, just hang on a second. For my birthday, which was in April, I got some more Copic markers. I have a bunch now. It's almost completely filled this. I have a couple of brush tips over there. I mainly use Pro Tips just because that's the original markers that I got. Oh god, stuffed animal. And so as you can see here, I color coded them. And so we have all of these and all of these. This is a paper towel I put under my paper so it doesn't bleed through. And as you can see here, I have a colorless blender that I used for the lightest part of the tail. That's just all I really wanted to get those out for. Anyways, moving on, I used a similar technique on day four. I really like her hair and the way it looks. And as you'll notice, I've adopted a different style of drawing people from the side. I'm still kind of working it out. Because sometimes it looks like right, like these two, and other times it looks really bad. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I really like this hand. I don't know why. I just do. Anyways, moving on. Here, I love this picture, personally. It's really cute. But this was day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, and day 9. And actually, the way I did Mermay was if I worked on a picture for more than one day, I put the day up there, and I kind of my working on this single picture as a tribute to Mermay instead of like drawing a new picture every single day, because if that were the case, I would have run out of paper a lot earlier on. So anyways, here she's supposed to be a dolphin. I really like her hair. She has like a little ponytail in the back that separates this part from this part. and it was hard to blend the skin tone into the blue, but I made it work. I really like her expression. She looks really happy. I like the way I posed her arms. I feel like they're appropriately posed. I wasn't sure how to pose her when I first started drawing her, but I knew exactly what I was doing for her. So basically, she's a I do this every time. She is a lionfish. There we go. Tiger striped, but she is a lionfish. And ever since I was a little kid, I thought they were called spiderfish, so that's just what I called them. And now anytime I try to say lionfish, I immediately, my brain goes to spiderfish, even though that's not what they're called. Anyways, I'm getting off track. I knew exactly what I was going to do for her. I knew someone was going to be over here. I wasn't sure who or what they were going to be doing, if they were going to hold something. So I was sort of winging it when I drew her, but I knew what I was doing when I was drawing her. I don't have names for them yet. I don't have names for a lot of people in here. But for some of them I do have names. Anyways, that's not the point. I like my incorporation of the blonde hair with her brown hair. I feel like that was done really well. I knew I wanted to have her with a darker skin tone, just because I don't really normally work with those that often, and I wanted to try a little something refreshing. So I went with a darker skin tone. When I was sketching her out, I wasn't using a reference, so there are a couple of things that would need to change in her design. Like, for instance, the orange is in the wrong line. When you look at, I almost said spiderfish again. When you look at a lionfish, these red little, but not really stripes, they're more like coming out, but when you look at those, the orange is actually in the line that doesn't have them, and the white is on the one that does have them. And so it's a little confusing. I didn't want to copy that pattern onto her fins. So I went with a simplistic pattern that still gets the point across. I actually kind of like this design more than the actual spiderfish because it would have looked too pale and it wouldn't have gone with her darker skin tone. I gave her some yellowish eyes. I felt like it was appropriate. I'm thinking blue eyes, but that's really obvious, so perhaps green eyes? Like a turquoise, that would look good? Possibly. Okay, next we have day 10. This is me still using the pencil to Copic kind of thing. I don't like that picture. I'm gonna be frank with you. I do not like it. It's really badly posed. The face is a mess. What is happening to this tail? But here I really like her hair. I don't know what it is about like a deep red with like something lighter. I used pink for that highlight. If I used my colorless blender, it would have been a lot brighter. I could have also used like my white gel pen, but I feel like that would have been too dramatic. Anyways, this is just a back view, and then I have her tail here. Nothing too serious. And now, before we get on to the next picture, this is sort of the mermaid version or AU to a series that I absolutely adore. The series is My Street, and it's done by the YouTuber Aphmau, and I adore her and all of that she does. She is a precious being, and I adore her. But I've got to say, this ship has really stolen my heart. It's my OTP, and it's Zane and Kawaii-chan as mermaids. And funny story, I got sick right before I started this picture, and for a couple of days I could hardly even work on it. It took me this entire top line just to sketch it. So it took 5 days just to sketch it, and then these 4 days of recovery after being sick to line and color it. Just because I wasn't corona. It wasn't corona. We got tested for that. But it was like I was going in and out of having a fever and then breaking it. And I was on Tylenol for like all of that. it was a real mess. It was a real mess. I had several fever dreams. I couldn't sleep hardly. But anyways, I'm alive. I'm fine. I feel much better now. I still have a bit of a cough, but that's only when I drink milk. I don't know why. Anyways, on to their designs. I kind of went off of a mixture of Starlight's outfit for Kawaii-chan, and I kind of liked the first season of My Street outfit for her, where she had like the arm poofy things here, but I didn't think that would work with this design, so I put some poof right here with a little strap. And for Kawaii-chan's design, I love the bow. There's like her bow clip is on the other side, so you can't see it over here, but I really like the way I did the bow. And because she's a mayflower, which is basically a cat person in the show, I wanted to keep some aspects of her cat-like-ness. So I kept her ear fins in the shape of a cat ear with some pink. I thought this fin was appropriate, and I put this fin at the back to represent her tail. So, like, if I were drawing her as a person and she had legs instead of a tail, this is still where her tail would have been. I just gave it, like, 2 extra, like, much drastically shorter, little tail spikes so the fins can connect. And I loved this pink fade, so I decided to make it with the whole tail. And then I continued this black with pink pattern into her big tail fin. And yeah, and so basically we have Kawaii-chan just snuggling into Zane. He's freaking out because he's not social, and this is probably terrifying him, to be honest. And so basically we have Zane. I gave him his mask because I figured since My Street takes place in modern time, I'd think perhaps a modern underwater time for mermaids where they have all these clothes and such. And now now Zane has a brother, Gareth. They look like complete opposites, act like complete opposites, but they're not complete opposites. And because they're related, I decided how I might want to design Gareth, and so I went with a similar design with Zane, and I just changed the colors, and that was pretty much it. For Zane, I did use, instead of using like my cool gray, because I'm actually kind of out of cool gray 6 and 5 and 3. I used one of the blues I got for my birthday to highlight his black hair. And Zane's eyes, I tried to make them as light as I possibly could, but I don't have a lot of light blue. And I feel like I could have gone lighter, but I'm not sure. But anyways, that's sort of it for this picture. And now we move on. I forget what's on the next one. Oh, yes. This. Day 18. Wait, hold on a second. Hang on. Okay. To check for a second, I'm like, day 18, wait a second. I was so confused for a while, but no. So, while those last couple of days, I was working on other things, but this is my favorite picture out of this entire page. It just looks so cute and quaint, and I love it. And then we have here an attempt to draw Aphmau as a mermaid. Since she's so short in the show, I figured she should have a short tail, but I didn't know what fish to base her off of. I mean, I didn't have a fish to base Zane or Kawaii-chan off of. I was just sort of going with my gut with that one, so I kind of went with my gut with this one, and I don't like the design. I might revise it in a different sketchbook, but yeah. Anyways, that was day 18, day 19, 20, and 21, and then we have 20 and 21 again down here. I like the way I did her hands with their perspective. Her pose, for the most part, looks okay. Her face is a little off. I can't really tell why, though. That's the issue. I'm just having an issue telling why. And as we move into the next one, we see this character again. Okay. Look at the back of this page. Utter chaos. but took me like 3, 4, possibly 5 colors just to do the rocks. Basically, so I do have a name for this character. His name is Max, and he has a crush on this one. Her colors came out a lot darker than I wanted them to be. It's supposed to be mainly like gray with like a hint of like a sandy blue kind of thing, because she's supposed to be a nurse shark. But it came out a lot darker than I wanted it to, so what can you do? I did a 2-knot top instead of just like deciding which one to go with. This was day 22, 24, and 25. This picture right here, you can't really see them all that well, but you have, hang on, focus. Day 23, 24, 25, and 26 over here. Nope, gosh. Focus. And here we have her holding a little seashell because the place she lives is very sandy, very sunny. She likes to sit out and sunbathe because nurse sharks are some of the few shark species that have cheek muscles that allow them to breathe while they stay in place, while other sharks have to keep moving in order to breathe. And then we have, if this could just focus, we have blue eyes, more of like a kind of tealish, but I don't have a teal color, so I just went with a normal blue. And her tail, I've drawn sharks before, so I know how to draw their tail. Anyways, so she's a nurse shark, and he is supposed to be some sort of green electric eel. I'm not exactly sure what species entirely, but yeah. I don't like the way he shaded his hair. I feel like I went with the wrong color like I did in the original picture. His eye color is actually a lot lighter. It's really hard to draw a pupil when it's that small. So, anyways, there we go with that. And on to the last picture of this sketchbook. We have day 27, 28, and 29 with a character based off of a tiger shark. I went a little ham on the spots in the center of his body. I went way too ham on those. Basically, this character, he gets into a lot of fights. Sometimes with his family, sometimes he gets picked on and beat up by other people he lives around, because he's not very strong, he's kind of weak, according to his very abusive father. Don't at me. So basically, I wanted to show a representation of him after a fight, and so I started with the face a lot smaller, like right around here, and I didn't like the way it looked, so I'm like, I thought to myself, well, let's try to make it bigger. And so I made the initial circle I used as a base a little bigger, and I made the face around it. And I did this eye first, and I really liked it. I did an eye the same size. I didn't like it because I wanted this one to be a black eye. And so I drew it a little smaller the next pass around, and I'm like, it looks a little strange, so let me add in the shading for the black eye, and then it started to look right. And then I did the hair, and it's side swept, so this half is like shaven, and then it's like, it just swoops over there. And then we have the spots going down his neck and some on his shoulders, and they follow throughout his body because he's a tiger shark. Have you ever even seen like an online picture of those? They're pretty big, actually. And so because it's like a fight scene, I'm like, I can't just leave it at one black eye, so I decided to put 2 little cuts here and another cut there. I like the expression I gave him, I'm just gonna say that. And the shading I did when it came to this eye and that eye, they look similar but different at the same time. I really enjoy the way that looks. Now here we have 3 little cut marks, like that, basically. We have a cut and a bruise over here, just a bruise, a cut, and then just a bruise again. I wanted to do something with his hands other than just making them instead of trying to hide them somewhere. But I didn't know what to do, so I'm like, well, maybe he retaliated in this instance. And so I gave him some bloody knuckles, and I know in the water, blood doesn't drip down, but that was the only way I could get it across in my head. And so I put some blood, like just pencil blood, on his knuckles, or where his knuckles should be, I think. Oh god. And yeah, I personally really enjoy this picture. It's one of my favorites. I just think it looks just so smooth with the way I drew it, and the story behind it is very solid. I feel like it conveys an emotion. It conveys something. Oh, and I added eyebrows. Look at that. It's an eyebrow. Okay, moving on to the next sketchbook, because, like I said, I ran out of paper in this one. So, we're gonna move on to the next one. I just realized this video is super long. Oh no. Oh, it's like a bajillion years long. Okay. Anyways, okay, gotta adjust. Okay, here we go. Day 30. Here we have not my favorite picture. See, when I drew the eye initially, it looked fine. But then I erased it because the hair is in the way, but then it looked all wonk. And I don't get it. I was thinking about maybe erasing this line and making it like a bandana. Because this person and the next person in another picture are supposed to be the same person. It's not clear at all. Ooh, I forgot to mention it on the last picture, but I did this with his teeth. Like, to make them appear sharper. Instead of just being like a fang and then a line, it's just like juice. Like a saw. And so this was day 30. I didn't like the way I drew this. It was late at night, and I was hanging out with my sister, and I just felt really tired. And so that's when the creative juices, most people say start flowing, but no, they stop flowing for me. Anyways, and here we have day 31, which is extremely gay, mind you. Perfect for Pride Month. I'm sorry this is coming up on the June 1st instead of like May 31st, but I figured I should like get the month over with first before I film anything, and that was my decision. And so I have this. They're like two little octopus witches things. She would totally wear a witch hat. She reminds me from Lucinda. She reminds me of Lucinda from My Street. She has a very that kind of style about her. But anyways, this is the character I was talking about who's supposed to be the same person as this one, but they look different. And I think it's because of the bandana. Like, I think they look better now because of the bandana. But anyways, I just thought that would be a really cute scene, and so I went with the idea. I really liked the way it looked. I struggled so much with her hair. I wasn't going to put the hat originally, but when I was really struggling with how to move her hair and where to put it. So I'm decided, I'm going to do the same thing I did with her with the bandana, because that was a part of her original design. I'm going to put a witch hat on her, and that way it makes it a lot easier so I don't have to worry about how her hair is being parted. And yeah, that's it. That's Mermay for you. Definitely Mermay. 'Twas an experience. Just everything everywhere. Yeah. So, I'm thinking about lining and coloring this picture. Comment down below if you think I should or shouldn't. If you have names for a couple of these characters, please tell me them. I need help. I have so many characters and I don't have enough brain juice to give them names. So, if you have names for any of the characters, I would really appreciate it if you told me. Maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. Who knows? But yeah. Bye!